The Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Art Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Art Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd day of February 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we want to urge you to be extremely cautious. We want to urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're a cyclist, if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands. Please ensure that you observe the rules of the road and remember that the life you save may simply be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. We know that many people have birthdays in the month of February. I can name some of them. Our former MLA, Mr. Ralston Anglin, my good friend Nate Solomon, Denley Stewart, known as Shaft, Mr. Telford Miller, Gary Wong. Lots of people with birthdays today, month of February. So when it comes, I want to wish you all a happy birthday as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and also that the memory of your loved ones will help to sustain you as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting there to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Want to give you the COVID-19 update, and this was for 2nd of February. Yesterday, Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reported that 219 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Monday. 2 were positive. The individuals are asymptomatic travelers who tested positive following routine screening. They will remain in isolation until considered recovered. The number of persons in isolation, either at a government facility or in their homes as required by the medical officer for health, is now 745. So that number keeps dropping. The total number of COVID-19 vaccines administered to date is 10,062, of which 2,339 represent an individual's second dose. So those persons we have a total of 10,062. Out of that 10,062, 2,339 are individuals who got their second dose, and I'm sure that number would have increased since yesterday, because yesterday there were second doses being administered again. Also commenting on the vaccine rollout, Dr. Lee said, is quoted as saying, "I'm really pleased with the rollout of our vaccination program in the Cayman Islands and want to thank everyone who has stepped forward so far. I encourage those of you who are eligible to take it. The vaccine is a great tool in our fight against the deadly disease, and in time, as travel increases, it will protect us from COVID-19's deadliest effects. Please help protect our whole community and have the vaccine when you are eligible." And I am happy to report that I got my second shot yesterday. Just a little soreness in the arm so far. And again, I want to commend the members of the Health Services Authority for the efficient way in which they are handling the vaccinations, and also want to thank the public, those individuals who queue up so patiently and wait to get, while they're in line, to get inside, everything running smoothly, no noise, no rowdiness. That's the way we operate in the Cayman Islands, and we would like to see that happen not only on COVID-19 vaccination lines, but all over, especially on our roads, when people are operating vehicles on the roads of the Cayman Islands again. So, Mr. Miller, good morning, sir. Welcome to For the Record. Northside for you again today. How are things going there?
Good morning to OC and good morning to the listening public. I think we're going pretty good. I suspect that we're somewhere about a 80th percentile in terms of people over 60 and the vulnerable people, or the people who have medical issues, getting the vaccine. And we organize things in Northside, and things have gone very orderly so far. I don't expect any different today. Most of today, I think, is just people coming back for their second dose. And it's being organized this time by the health department according to your last name.
Right.
So what we did last time was we organized the district according to the geographical areas. And we divided the district up into 5 areas and had people come at different times, so we didn't have a big queue. But now it's being done by
alphabetical order. So between 9 and 10 o'clock, A to F.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then
10 to 11.
10 to 11 is
G to N.
Right. And then 11 to 12 is
I don't
have the system.
O to Z.
O to Z.
O to Z, yes.
So that's the order they're coming in. Let's go over it again.
Yep.
9 till 11.
9 to 10.
9 to 10.
Surnames beginning A through F.
Right.
Then 10 to 11, G through N. And 11 to 12, O to Z.
Right. So you come in that order. It's no point in everybody coming at 9 o'clock.
Right.
You just got to wait a long time.
Yes.
So it's better to follow the recommendations of the HSA and come in those orders, and we will have people there to help the nurses organize. Mm-hmm. So first come, first served, according to your last name. And we'll have our musical chairs going. You come in, you sit down, you keep moving one chair at a time.
Yeah. What they did yesterday at Owen Roberts International Airport was persons over 70 they called them.
Yeah.
And then after they were finished with those over 70, then they called those 60 and over. So they had basically 2 lines, and they gave those ages preference. Other reminders that we want to give them: they should wear a mask.
They have to wear a mask.
Take the
and
vaccination
take the
card
vaccination card
with them.
The one you got with your primary dose,
Right.
so that you can get your second dose written into it, because that is likely to be your travel document in the future. You'll have to wait the 10 or 15 minutes to make sure that there's no allergic reaction to the vaccine. If you didn't have any problems with the first one, it's unlikely you'll have any with the second one, although some people are complaining that they have a few more aches and pains with the second dose than they had on the first. I had my second dose last week Thursday, and everything was okay with me. I had some aches and pains on Friday, but I'm not 100% sure that they were related to the vaccine. They may have been related to some activities in the gym, which I'm trying to go back now and get in shape for this election battle that I have coming up here. Right?
Getting ready for the cage fight, huh?
That's right. And this is going to be a complete cage. There's no way out. They do it to run and hide like the last time. And they certainly are marshalling their forces against me, and their financial resources. I can't match them in financial resources, but I can promise them one thing: they can outspend Ezra Miller, but they can't outwork Ezra Miller. And the fact that you are being driven by outside sources in order to get elected for them, you don't have the same kind of commitment I have. I'm only driven by Ezra Miller, and my only objective is to serve the people of Northside in the first instance, and the people of the wider Cayman in the second and wider instance. And I believe that I can run on my track record. I don't think that the government brought a single piece of legislation to Parliament in the last 4 years that I did not seek to amend to improve the bill. Because the only reason a government should accept an amendment to the bill from me is if it's going to improve the bill and provide a better solution to their problem. So I have worked seriously, consistently for the people. I'm not one of those who uses social media to promote every time I give somebody a piece of chewing gum or pick them up and give them a ride on the street. Whatever I do for people, I regard that as a confidential relationship between me and them. The mere fact that you humble yourself and you go through, in some cases, the personal embarrassment of having to ask for help, I don't think that is something I should turn around in and make to try to get political mileage out of. So I've always done that. That's the way my mother raised me. She used to tell us to be generous, but not braggadocious about your generosity. And that's the way all of my siblings operate. We help people, but we don't make a big deal of it. And it's up to the people of Northside, but I trust the people of Northside to make the right choice. And there's only one right choice. You have me with experience. You have me with a pretty good academic education, even if I must say so myself. And you shouldn't trade that in for people who didn't finish high school and who spend all their time having parties and making alcoholics out of all the young people in Northside. I don't do that, and I'm not a populist. I don't go around to the bars and friend people up and buy them drinks and pretend to be. I sit home, I study and work for the people in Northside. If you got a problem, and I do this for people all over the island, I get more calls from other constituencies combined, probably 3 times combined what I get from my own constituency. And I was helping a friend of mine over the last 4 months, trying to get a problem solved, right? And he said to me, after we finally got it solved, he said, you're the only person that would not give up until we got this done. Everybody else that I went to said, okay, we'll make a phone call, and I never hear from them again. I don't know whether they make the phone call. Whatever they made of the phone call, I don't know, And that's how I am, one thing I am renowned for is my consistency. Even the premier in his most egregious criticism of me will have to admit that he knows what he's going to get from me. He's going to get a reasonable analysis of what he's trying to do. he's going to get honest input, even if we don't agree. And even if I accept his solution in the end, he and I have always been able to have a civil, respectful conversation about the issue. And that's how I think politics should be.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we want to talk a little bit more about the stages, the step as far as the COVID-19 vaccine is concerned, because people will be required to complete another card on the second dose, and we'll talk about what that's all about. It's nothing that is too onerous, but there are some questions on there that I think will be helpful to the medical authorities. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Joseph Stephen Blackman. Reverend Blackman ministered to the people of West Bay between 1910 and 1927, and again from 1935 until 1948. Shortly after his arrival, he began a special ministry to the seamen of West Bay, in which he would commit the captain and crew of each chartering vessel to the protection of God. Seamen going to other destinations were also especially ministered to, and the church service was designed so that each Sunday, these absent seamen were remembered and prayed for. Reverend Blackman consistently worked with the young people of the community, always trying to instill Christian morals in their lives. He is especially remembered by older West Bay citizens for his ministry through Christian Endeavor, his prayer meeting, and the special prayer meetings during wartime. He was married to Anne Elizabeth Blackman. Reverend Blackman ministered to the West Bay community when life was difficult and transportation was mostly by foot. His remains are interred in the West Bay Cemetery among the people with whom he lived and worked.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
As we ride the hamster wheel, scampering along the treadmill of living, we try to reset to this new normal, this new life. Where getting away is staying right here. Where vacation is staycation, staying safe. Where focus is surviving minutes, hours, days of anxiety. Step away and say hello to the latest exhibition of the National Gallery. Say hello to Alchemy by Cayman's premier sculptor, native son Horacio Esteban. Lose yourself in moments of geology meeting history, meeting botany, meeting zoology, meeting art. Where Caymanite and coral and unearthed cedar of thousands of years strike a pose in art. Bring your family. Leave your stress at the doors. Wellness, renewal, mental peppermint. Alchemy at the National Gallery, supported by Rotary Central Community Service. Rotary opens opportunities.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. 122 Industrial Way, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers and stay prepared. 949-2511. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Honey, Our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Learn about UCCI's IT Academy training programs, certifications, and the UCCI Cisco NetAcad Scholarship. More than 15 scholarships are available to new IT Academy students. Join UCCI's IT Academy informational session to learn how you can start a career in IT or further your intermediate skills and all about the scholarship. Visit www.ucci.edu.ky to learn more, or to directly apply to the scholarship, visit www.ucci.edu.ky/Cisco NetAcad Scholarship.
Happy New Year and Happy New SUV to you from Vamt Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vamt Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MP, Mr. Ezard Miller. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine, and in addition to ensuring that you wear a mask, that you have your vaccination card with you, it would be helpful if you had took a pen with you also, even though pens are provided there, or someone on the queue may have a pen that you could borrow. But if you're one of those who like to be independent, then take a pen with you as well, because you're going to be given a small card.
We'll have pens and we'll have clipboards.
Yeah. And they'll be given a small card asking for the date of your name, date of birth, the date of the first vaccination, and then some questions in terms of any side effects that you may have had after getting the first dose. That card, once it is completed, will be kept by the authorities there. They will complete your vaccination card for the second dose, and then that is given to you. And like Mr. Miller said, you hold on to that, because that basically is your vaccination passport in the event that countries require you to have that when travel is opened up as well. Mr. Miller?
Yeah, and like we were talking earlier, if everybody comes at 9 o'clock, we're going to have a rather chaotic situation, i.e., the clinic is small to start with. In fact, the last Wednesday, what we had to do was I opened up the Civic Center and made them go in there, and they got recorded as how they arrived, and then they fell in a queue. So we'll have some people there this morning, and when you arrive, we'll try to deal with you in the order at which you arrive. But follow your surname letters and come in that time. So we stretch people out over the morning. But it is important to complete the card. We haven't had any problems with people completing the original questionnaire and stuff. So I suspect that it'll go well.
Okay, so let's remind them again that between 9 and 10 for Northside this morning, if your surname is Between A and F, that's 9 to 10, 10 to 11, G to N, and 11 to 12, O to Z.
Right.
And that's for dose number 2 as well. And I think we won't leave Georgetown Owen Roberts International Airport out. So for the second dose, Owen Roberts International Airport this morning, 9 to 10, A to F, 10 to 11, G to N, and 11 to 12, O to Z. And like I said, if you go there at times that have been assigned to you, there is no hassle whatsoever. You stand in line, people are orderly. You get your instructions when you get to the door, or persons may come along the line and give you those cards and ask you, to complete them in the meantime.
And I think they're also looking to those that need assistance if they're over 70.
Yeah,
they don't want them to stand in line with people between 60 and 70. I'm really impressed by the way the nurses have organized it, and I went to the airport to get my second shot, and I think when I went there, they had like 6 lines actually given the vaccination, so it was quite fast. You did not wait very long.
Yeah, it's more than that now. I think at one point in time there may have been something like about 14 stations, as well. And of course, they all have their coolers with the vaccine in it, and then when they run out, then they have to go in the back and get more and come back out, because it happened when I was sitting there. She had run out at that point in time, and she said,
and I mean it's almost painless. You almost don't even feel it when you got it, and then they actually to sit in a little while just to make sure that there's no like I said, no allergic or adverse reactions. Again, but that's only for 10 or 15 minutes, and not a long time to wait to get your vaccination against this terrible disease. Yeah. Because people must not underestimate the severity of this disease. I mean, the fact that the U.S. is now approaching, 500,000 people, and they're supposed to have the most sophisticated healthcare system in the world, right? Tells you that it's not a disease to joke around with.
Yep, certainly is. Okay, I think we have about 2 minutes before we go to news. We can.
What I can probably do is talk a little bit about. We're hoping to get our senior citizen program started back next week Tuesday in Northside. A couple of them have been a while because of the COVID. We haven't done it, so we want to get that back on track, and because the seniors appreciate it. I enjoy it. My staff that helps me with it, Miss Carol and others, they enjoy it. It's a wonderful day. You should come by sometime on a Tuesday and talk to some of these. You get a good historical context of. And one of the things I enjoy.
Where?
We're at Civic Center.
At the Civic Center?
We usually start 10:30. We'll have a little devotion, and then we'll have lunch, and then we'll have some games, or we'll play a little bingo game, or we'll have somebody come in and do a presentation, or we've got some people come in and teach them some artwork, and it's fun, and it keeps them active. And I've found that that's what our seniors want, and unfortunately, they just don't get enough of it. They need company. They need somebody to talk to, and somebody would listen to them. And let me tell you something now, they're very up to date, right? So don't make no mistake now and think that you can go there now and come up with any kind of stupid opinion that you're not going to get challenged, right? But it's worth it all. It's worth it all.
Have your facts all together, right?
Yeah. They'll challenge you.
Okay. Top of the hour. And 8 o'clock news coming up, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
New Year healthy options live at Foster's.
When you need lunch on the go, head to the Fresh Salad Bar at all Foster's locations. Or if you're looking for a vegan meal, check out our new vegan hot bar at Foster's Camana Bay.
Replace that sugary drink with a locally brewed kombucha full of vitamins B, C, and antioxidants. Or get it on tap at our Camana Bay store.
And to help you whilst you're shopping, look out for the organic and all-natural signs in store.
For more healthy tips, follow us at Foster's K-Man on Facebook and Instagram. Foster's, better because we care.
the voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Maples Group donates to support mentoring, shelter, and crisis services. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins has more.
Nonprofit organizations Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the Cayman Islands, the Children and Youth Services Foundation, and the Cayman Islands Crisis Center are the fortunate recipients of a donation from the Maples Group valuing over $147,000 US. BBBS offers community-based and in-school mentoring opportunities for children, with mentors serving as role models. The Maples Group contributed $61,975 US towards funding costs. The group also contributes $27,813 US to the Kays Foundation, which is dedicated to supporting young people and their families who are experiencing difficulties achieving their full human potential. The Cayman Islands Crisis Center receives $58,000 US. They provide not only a secure emergency shelter for women and children escaping from domestic abuse, but also supplementary support services. Scott Somerville, CEO of Maple FS, part of the Maples Group, says, "We are proud to contribute to these local organizations that provide such essential resources and support to protect and inspire those in our community." For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
To learn more on these nonprofits, you can visit bbbs.ky, kays.org.ky, or cicc.ky. A literacy-boosting donation at Red Bay Primary. CIGTV's Donna Bush.
Red Bay Primary school students who return to school from the Christmas break now see their classroom libraries brimming with beautiful new reading books. Cayman's only literacy charity, Literacy is for Everyone, or LIFE, delivered box loads of over 4,000 high-interest, age-appropriate leveled reading books to create classroom libraries in every class in support of literacy education. Books were selected following an assessment of individual classroom needs and then sorted, stickered, and labeled according to reading levels to support children's independent, wider reading. To generate maximum impact and optimize the book's use as curricular resources, consideration was also given to providing a balance of fiction and nonfiction, the inclusion of new titles, sensitivity to cultural and linguistic diversity, as well as the provision of a range of genres, from poetry and chapter books to science, fiction, and reference text.
For more information, visit life.org.ky. And Cayman Islands national athlete Shalissa Ray now holds the 6th fastest 400-meter time ever run by a female competing out of Kansas State University. According to K03 Sports, the 21-year-old KSU sophomore ran the 400-meter at her school's De Los Dodds Invitational Indoor Meet on Saturday and took first with a new personal best of 54:06. Her performance reportedly granted her the current honor of being the 4th fastest 400-meter female runner in the Big 12 Conference so far this year. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's Newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. 2 of Myanmar's deposed civilian leaders have been charged by army generals who seized power in a coup on Monday. Aung San Suu Kyi has been accused of illegally possessing walkie-talkie radios, and the former president, Win Myint, of violating coronavirus restrictions. The charges could result in the pair being barred from standing in future elections. Environmental campaigners in France have won a landmark ruling against the government over its failure to translate climate change commitments into policy. An administrative court in Paris ruled that the government's deficiencies made it responsible for some of the resulting damage. The Italian President Sergio Mattarella has invited the former head of the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, to try to form a new government. A coalition fell apart last month. Mr. Draghi is one of Italy's most widely respected public figures. A British-Iranian academic facing 9 years in prison in Iran has told the BBC how he managed to escape while out on bail, fleeing across the mountainous border on foot. Kamil Ahmadi was convicted in December of collaborating with a hostile government. He denies the charge. BBC News with Jerry Smith.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
Radio Cayman News.
The more contagious British variant strain of COVID appears in test results from several incoming
I
travellers.
strongly encourage everyone dealing with travellers to remain vigilant and adhere to infection prevention and control strategies.
The Cabinet has decided to name a new national hero, Leela McTaggart Ross-Shire.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. Ultimately, taking action is the surest way to achieve results.
As motivational speaker Tony Robbins said, I believe life is constantly testing us for our level of commitment, and life's greatest rewards are reserved for those who demonstrate a never-ending commitment to act until they achieve. This level of resolve can move mountains, but it must be constant and consistent. As simplistic as this may sound, it is still the common denominator separating those who live their dreams from those who live in regret.
Change your thinking, change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman. Health, wellness, and happiness.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 74 degrees. Relative humidity is 51%. The barometric pressure 30.01 inches and falling. The wind is north at 7 knots. Overnight low temperature was 73. Synopsis indicate moderate winds and seas expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a high-pressure system over the southern United States. The forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with less than a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 70s. Your winds will be north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet, with 2 to 3 feet swells likely along the north and west coast. Small craft should exercise caution over open waters, especially along the north and western coast. Now, the forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will dip to the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're presently at a low tide, and the next high tide will be this afternoon at 1:45 and a low tide again tonight at 8:47. The sun will set this evening at 6:18 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:59. And from moderate east to northeast winds and seas through Friday morning.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look what's happening on the roads. Coming from the east just past the Tomlinson roundabout, traffic is busy and bumper to bumper on the Linford Pearson Highway, and coming off of Agnes Way, traffic busy as well. And busy traffic from the Butterfield roundabout heading towards the Industrial Park area. Slight delays expected. And traffic moving on steadily on Huldah Avenue. And as we look to the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, moderate flow of traffic as well. And traffic is flowing at a good pace on Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way. And as we look to Georgetown, traffic on Edward Street is light to moderate, and traffic flowing pretty good on Shen Road. And on Crew Road, some sections steady, other sections moderate. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, busy traffic. And traffic is flowing steadily on Walkers Road, just coming from the school area. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
What a night. I'm starving. I heard Subway is open 24 hours again. Let's swing in there and grab a sub.
Yeah, I want one of their pizzas. Oh, and some cookies.
Late night out or working late? Swing into Subway at Countryside Shopping Village, Anderson Square, or Centennial Towers, West Bay, and grab your favorite sub, wrap, or pizza on the way home. They're open 24 hours to satisfy all your late night cravings. Subway, eat fresh, 24 hours a day.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
It is truly important to our country that the voices of all the people in the Cayman Islands are heard on Election Day. Your vote counts. So on May 26, exercise your democratic right and vote. A public service announcement from your #1 community station, Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning MP Mr. Ezzard Miller. We're going to talk a little bit more about your district and what's happening there, and a news on the widening of the road. Well, I shouldn't say we're widening, getting the road to the...
Building the road proper in the proper spot.
Yes, yeah. In the Kaibo area?
Well, that has been an ongoing battle, as you know. We've been through it several times. I've been trying to get that road properly repaired now and built, because some sections of it have never properly been built. And in high tide, it's on a salt water for close now to 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
The famous Imperato wall that destroyed the $300,000 invested in the junction of Rum Point, Sand Point, and Waterkey Road still can't be moved. They went and pulled the plants up in front of it. I don't know how the NRA expect that to solve the problem. But every time we think, I think I'm getting this thing done, somebody interferes with it. I met with the homeowners down there in February 2019, right? And told them that the problem with the road was that the road is gazetted. We have to build a road where it is gazetted. But the problem is that many of those homeowners have encroachments in the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an offense under the roads law. I think it's $5,000 fine and or imprisonment for 6 months or something, right? So I met with them. We went to the trouble. We got Lands and Survey to go up there. We surveyed the road where it's supposed to be. We identified in color all of the gardens that were in the road. Some of those gardens are 8-10 feet in the road, you know. Right? And I had all the information there, the gazettal notice from the 60s and 70s, and the first thing they were accusing me of doing was building this new road. And I had to point out to them that there's no new road. I'm just trying to put a road where it's legal as supposed to be, because there are liabilities to government if we don't have the road in the right spot, right? And they're liability. But you just, because you put your garden 10 feet out in the road, I can't go across the street and take 10 feet from the other guy. So at the end of that meeting, all 6-5 of them present voted to move forward.
Okay.
But then we have some people down in Rum Point who go behind my back then, and unfortunately the government, both at the ministry level and at the NRA level, entertains these people to try and change the road and slows things down again. They were I sent an email to the NRA on the 4th of January. I finally got a response after sending 2 more emails on the 17th of January, saying that the road was scheduled to start in about 2 or 3 weeks. The other problem we have is that some of the landowners down there are taking up the survey marks, and the government should prosecute them. You cannot interfere with government survey marks like that.
Mm-hmm. And those are the PVC pipes with
you
ride down in the ground, actually.
Yeah,
so
you're going
to pull them up. Yeah,
right. So they had to. I think it's either 2 or, if they have to do it again, this would at least be the 3rd or 4th time that they've had to send Lands and Survey up there to put these markers in place.
Mm-hmm.
I asked them in February 2019 you see what your infringements are, right? Go ahead and move your infringements out. Otherwise, the government is going to move them. And my recommendation to the government is that the government should bill them for the cost of equipment and manpower to move their gardens, and they should also prosecute them for having for encroachments onto the road, because they're not willing to move it. I talked to one of them a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were there doing the yard, and I stopped and say, well, this fence is in the road. You need to move it. Well, we're waiting on some official thing. I said, well, it don't get much more official, me telling you, right? But anyway, the other thing was that NRA was supposed to give these people individual letters pointing out the encroachment from March 2019.
That was agreed upon, right?
Yeah.
In a meeting.
I even volunteered to say you have to follow the law. send it out by registered mail to the address on the land registry. Pointed out to the people in the homeowners in the meeting that it is your responsibility to make sure the address on your registration documents is correct. But I volunteered for the NRA. I said, send it out correctly. Give me an extra copy in a sealed envelope. I will personally take it to each household and either put it in the door or give it to the management companies, because a lot of these houses are managed by people in Northside. That didn't happen. I understand now that most of them, and they're going to try to do now from the junction at Rumpoint to Finger Key. And I think those homeowners got theirs. I sent an email yesterday to the NRA, because I've now been informed that once again these people have gone behind my back and trying to get representation to the NRA about making changes again to protect somebody's fence, right? And I managed to get the law changed in September, when they did, or October, when they did the development and planning law, that your fence has to now be 4 foot from the edge of the gazetted road.
Okay.
And the purpose of that is so that they eventually, if you need to put on a sidewalk, the 4 feet is there. But then if you plant a hedge, right, that hedge can't encroach into that 4 foot, you know. But it seems like these people, I don't know what their submissions to planning are. You know, they probably show false measurements from the road to the front of the building, because the building is supposed to be 20 feet from the side of the road.
Right.
You know, some of these buildings down there are not even 10 feet. You know, because those lots in Cayman-Kai were never designed to have 3-story, 7-8 bedroom houses, 10,000 square feet. They were all designed by the Dices in the 60s when they laid them out to be small 2 and 3 bedroom, single-story, single family dwelling. What's happening now is they're building these humongous houses strictly for Airbnb, and they couldn't care less that some of those people, when we put the road where it's supposed to be, not gonna have enough space between the house and the road to park a car, you know.
Okay.
But again, you see, but then what happens then? They go to the NRA, and the NRA tell them, you know, we can put the road where it is. You can't do that. That's illegal. You know.
Yeah.
So I am not prepared to compromise to the point where we're not putting the road where it's supposed to be, and these people are allowed to acquire land by quiet possession, as they claim is now their land. This is what they told me at the meeting, that started meeting, they had their garden out on the road now for 12, 15 years, so their land. They don't work that way. You know, Carrasco, so it happened a long time ago. Yeah. So I'm working as just to get it done, but I am not going to do it unless it is done right. And at some point in time, the civil servants have to have the cojones to tell these people who are coming to them that the representative has to be involved in this process. And they're going to need to stop going behind my back and trying to mess things up. Because they tell me that, NRA tell them that we can just put hot mix down the middle of it White House now. That's not going to solve the problem.
No. We have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning to you too, Ossie.
Good morning.
And Mr. Miller.
Morning, sir. How you doing?
My greatest respect to you, sir.
Equality, man. Equal.
I have to take my hat off to you and, you know, for everything that you stand for. You know who you remind me of so much? You know the gentleman from, is it Arkansas, Huckabee?
Oh, yeah.
You talk about a gentleman, is that man, you know? If we had few more like him and yourself, we would be all right. I mean, there wouldn't be any problems with the world today. Since you're on this topic, I got asked a question that I know it's impossible to answer, but, you know, if y'all can prove me wrong, I mean, that would be good. Who is responsible for the designs? And don't tell me NRA. I need one name. If you can't give me a name, just say you know the person that is responsible for it, or if you don't want to give the name over the air, I mean, that's fine. But who is responsible for the design of these roundabouts in this island?
Well, there's only one person who has the ultimate responsibility, and that's the chairman of the NRA board. The buck stops there. From there goes to the minister up to the glass house. He's supposed to have in place, him and his board supposed to have in place proper technical people to do this. But the final decision is done by them, by the board, and the chairman is responsible.
How many of those big trucks so far that we have had turned over right there on that roundabout by hurlers because of the design of it?
Too many, I can tell you that. And we're lucky that nobody hasn't lost their life in that process.
Exactly. And when are they going to do something about these roundabouts? Can't they realize that they were completely designed, they're wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do you need to make a C-turn to go around a roundabout and put yourself and other people's in danger with them big trucks like that? I mean, they got, 20, 30, 25 tons, yards of stuff on top of them, aggregate.
Yep.
And, I mean, they're not light. So
and they're easily in 10, 15 degrees going around them turns.
Exactly.
I make sure that if I'm in the vicinity of one of them trucks, I don't go on the inside, on the outside lane of one of them around and around. I can promise you that. But I agree with you. Those are the kind of things that we need to have designed so the roads are tilted properly to prevent that.
Exactly. But you know, I don't know. It just tickles me to death to see that. You know, I don't have no kind of experience. I didn't even get a proper education from school, right? But I'm getting by with what I got, and I can point out and see all of the issues that we have. For instance, when are we going to do something about these people that don't use their indicators on their car that is creating all of the problems on the road? I mean, when will it stop? I mean, I could go on and go on and go on, but, you know...
But it all goes back to enforcement, my dear. I drive behind cars that I see breaking the law, right? And a police car is between me and the car that I notice breaking the law. I can see that the car in front of me is breaking the law, but the policeman can't see it. And I'm not talking about just for 10 or 15 feet, and I'm talking from like Frank Sound to Georgetown. Repeatedly breaking the law, particularly with indicators.
I'm coming down north side, your road here, in the 50 mile zone just now. 50 miles an hour. And there's a Cox truck in the front of me, stopped right in the middle of the 50 mile zone with no indicator to turn in. I mean, if I wasn't paying attention, look what could have happened quick as that.
Exactly.
Right? But if I see their indicator, I know that I got to make my...
But you're not expecting him to stop in a 50 mile an hour zone. You're expecting him to continue unless you indicate otherwise.
You see, so these are the things the little small things that will get big.
Well, let me tell you something. I have a friend who tells me if I ever get back into the government cabinet, he wants me to be the minister of little things. Because it is these little problems that we don't fix that causes the big problems. And if you can't fix the little problems, you don't have a chance in hell to fix the big ones, you know.
Mr. Miller, you are the type of person you can fix small and big things, not only small things.
I can sure try.
But
I can tell you something. You can know that I tried, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't hide it from anybody.
Which is not a lot you can say about the rest, you know. I mean, I must say I have to take my hat off to Mr. McLaughlin for the job that he has done with this COVID-19 in this country, because this is the safest place that anybody could ask for.
And I agree with you in terms of handling the transmission of the disease and controlling the spread. I give him full kudos. Can't say the same thing about the economic recovery and stuff and how they're handling that, but, you know.
Yeah.
But that part of it, I give him kudos for that.
Yeah, well, you know, if we can give them hell, we give them hell.
Listen, I take a lot of flack from people because I congratulate the civil service for getting their accounts and stuff in order. But I also gave them hell when I threatened to put them all in jail if they didn't get their accounts brought up to speed. And now that they have done it, they must be given the proper kudos and respect for doing so. It took a lot of hard work.
But you know something, Mr. Miller, people hate you for the first week or two doing things like this, but then after they realize, you know what Mr. Miller did is for the good of the country, and you know, after that, you got all the respect in the world because they know what you stand for and what you're all about. And if you have a problem with that, that is not your problem, that's their problem.
Exactly.
They need to get their problem sorted out because you are doing what you're supposed to do and what you were elected for the people of this country to do.
Caller,
and all we need is a few more of them.
Caller,
okay, man. Good to hear from you, man. God bless till we meet again, man. Keep up the good work.
The best.
I don't know if you saw, I usually don't watch these things too often, but there's on Facebook, there's a comedian on there called White Yardie. and they talk about, he's this driver's driving. He said, "What you putting on your indicator for?" He said, "So the drivers will know where I'm going." He said, "Never let a man know what your next move is." So, maybe people are thinking that. I'm not going to let them know what my next move is. Mr. Miller, I know you have...
slow down for the light when it yellow. That means go fast before it turn red.
Yeah, I know you have to leave now, so I want to give you an opportunity for some closing comments.
Well,
before we go to break.
Like I said, we were open to get our seniors program back on track next week, Tuesday. And again, I want to repeat, if you come in for your second dose of vaccine today, 9 to 10 is A to F, 10 to 11 is G to N, 11 to 12 is O to Z. Bring your original card that you got so that the nurses can make the proper notification that you got your second dose. And when you come, we're going to be there. I'm leaving here shortly to be there at 9 o'clock, and we're going to try and organize people in the order which they arrive. So if you're A to F, you come between 9 and 10, we'll get you in and try and get things moving fast so you don't have a lot of time to wait. And we encourage all those people who are in the vulnerable age groups, that is 16 and above. There's a couple in Northside who have not yet taken it. I really would encourage you to come and get your first shot. And because, as I said earlier, this is not a disease. This is not like a common flu that everybody in your age group can handle. I think something in the UK, something like 90% of all the people over 80 who are getting this disease are dying. You have the United States, where there is supposedly the most sophisticated medical care system in the world, and they're approaching 500,000. So it's not something to take lightly.
Nope.
The government is providing you with these vaccinations free of cost. It is a relatively painless operation. I've had my second dose. I've had no serious side effects or consequences there to it. I told him in church a couple of Sundays ago after I had my first dose that, notice I don't have an extra ears. I don't have the horns going on my head. So encourage you to come. Let's get it done. And look forward to being there this morning to help out with the organization. Okay. So thanks you all for having me. And see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks' time.
Right.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to certainly have an open line for you to call in as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Caymankind.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. Happy New Year and happy new SUV to you from Vant Motors during our January SUV sale, where you can save thousands of dollars and get an excellent deal on the perfect SUV to suit your needs. Save $2,000 off the new Ford Escape and enjoy its power, looks, and spacious comfort. The Escape has it all, and it's on sale this month for only $30,900. For a roomy interior, performance, and smart technology, you love the high-spec 7-seater Toyota Rush for only $24,900. With so many SUVs to choose from and savings up to $8,900, drive home your new SUV from Vant Motors on Walkers Road while supplies last.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Open line for you to call in. Two things I want to mention early, both in relation to Bermuda. Bermuda has reached their 5,000 mark in terms of the number of persons who have been vaccinated. And here in the Cayman Islands, we're much over that, way over that as well. That is a good sign for us here in the Cayman Islands when we consider, I think, based on the figures, the population of Cayman and population of Bermuda seem to be hovering around the same level these days. So people of the Cayman Islands, it is good that the response that you are given towards getting the vaccine. We know that there are anti-vaxxers out there, persons who are hesitant about taking the vaccine and waiting to see what happens first. And we hope and we trust that the positive feedback that you have been receiving from those persons who have actually been vaccinated, then that will help as well. I will say to you, if you go, when you go and you look on those lines and you look at the people who are being there to be vaccinated, it will give you room for pause as well. And you sometimes wonder whether or not Caymanians are doing enough to get vaccinated as well. Many Caymanians on the line, but we see other non-Caymanians who qualify because of whatever reason to get the vaccine, and those people are out there eager to get it. So we want to ensure that everyone is protected. This should not be drawn along racial or nationality lines. Everyone, by getting the vaccine, you're helping to protect yourself and also, protecting others as well. The other issue, for those who are interested, and I'm sure that many of you are, because sometime this month, the Privy Council will also be hearing the same-sex marriage case in the Cayman Islands. Well, the Bermuda case is being heard in the Privy Council starting today, and the Royal Gazette in Bermuda is carrying it, live streaming it as well. www.royalgazette.com. However, the hearing started at 6:30 a.m. Bermuda time, when a panel of 5 judges in the island's highest court of appeal started hearing the government's argument that same-sex marriage should be illegal and a counterclaim that a ban is against the Constitution. 2 of England's top barristers will argue the case. The government is represented by John Crow, QC. Government has added a junior barrister, Tom Cross, from 11 KBW Chambers to assist Mr. Cross of 4 Stone Buildings Chambers. The government dropped another top English lawyer, James Guthrie, QC. They dropped him after they lost in the Court of Appeal, when they lost the Court of Appeal case. Lord Panic, David Panic, will represent gay rights group out Bermuda and other parties who brought the original case and were successful in the legislation of same-sex marriage after hearing in the Court of Appeal in Bermuda. Lord Panic is assisted by Rod Attridge Sterling and Sean Dunleavy, who are barristers as well. So they're live streaming it on the RoyalGazette.com if you have an interest in it. And like I said, later on this month, the case in Cayman will be heard as well. Now, while they're along the same lines, they're not necessarily identical. And if a verdict is announced before the Bermuda case is heard, that may not necessarily be instructive as to what the decision on the case in the Cayman Islands will be. But I'm sure that there are people who are watching it carefully. And another point of note also is that those persons who are on the government side and opposing the ruling of the Court of Appeals and the introduction of same-sex marriage in Bermuda, they have already stated that they will adhere to the decision of the Privy Council. Of course, they have no other option but to adhere to that decision. And while politicians may look for ways to craft legislation to get around it, I'm not sure whether or not that in itself will be possible as well. But if you have an interest in it, I would suggest to you follow it. If not, follow the news on it. It's a virtual hearing that is taking place as well. And it'll be interesting to see what the outcome is. And of course, closer to home later on this month, the Cayman Islands case will be heard as well. What else do I have for you? On Monday, talked about the sinking of the Muraco. The Muraco was one of the lifelines for the Cayman Islands. And in that issue of January or February 1966, the publishers of the Tradewinds newspaper said that they would provide us with additional information on the Muraco's sinking. And on the 10th of February 1966, they did exactly that. And the article pointed out that many people have commented on the remarkable series of pictures of the sinking of the Muraco, which were published last week. Tradewinds sends special thanks to Mr. Robert Bawden of Georgetown, who kindly gave the Tradewinds newspaper permission to use the pictures which he had taken from aboard the TMAC. So Mr. Bawden took those pictures, Mr. Robert Bawden took those pictures from aboard the TMAC. Goes on to say that Mr. Bawden was the third engineer on the Muraco and was on board while she was being towed by the TMAC from Jamaica to Cayman for repairs. When the crew had to abandon ship, they were taken aboard the TMAC, and Mr. Bawden was quick thinking in taking out his camera to record the incident. Mr. Bawden is now second engineer. This is being reported in 1966. Then he became second engineer on the Kirk Trader as well. So here again is one of our seafaring stores in the Cayman Islands, sinking of the Miracle. Fortunately, Mr. Bawden had a camera. I would say that not many people in those days, 1966, would have had access to a camera, but I am sure that one of the advantages that Mr. Bawden had in acquiring a camera was the fact that he was a seaman and he went to all of those foreign ports and as a result was able to procure a camera. And kudos to him because he was able to then take those photographs as well. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly. Remember, our phone lines are open. Toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Having some challenges with emails at this point in time. Hopefully that will be resolved before the show is over. But you can WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings, Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. Phone lines are open. Toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Other landlines 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us 925-3261 as well. I'm going to share some more articles with you. I want to point out that this miracle that what some people call a miracle in the Cayman Islands in terms of our success didn't happen just yesterday or day before yesterday. It is a culmination of the perseverance of Caymanians, the perseverance and sound decisions made by our political leaders at the time. And this was expressed by Mr. Willerwood in the Tradewinds newspaper as well. Mr. Willerwood was a Tradewinds correspondent for Bordentown, and he wrote that never in the history of the Cayman Islands has there been so much prosperity. This is in 1966 he's talking now. There's been so much prosperity. Everyone who wants to work is employed. In fact, there are times when you can't get anyone to work at all. And I must say, I was speaking to someone yesterday, and they were talking about how difficult it is to find a small contractor, to do work for you, because most people are involved in big jobs and find it difficult to address the issues, the individual issues of smaller customers, small households, and everything else. And I'm going to add to that and say that is why you find that those persons who are on work permits are out there getting what they call, quote unquote, a roast. And if you don't know what a roast is, it isn't something that is prepared in the kitchen. A roast is that you have your job, you have a work permit for an employer, but you get the opportunity to do jobs on the side as well. And when you get that opportunity to do jobs on the side, you're also able to underbid or to underprice what someone else may charge if you're able to get them to do the work as well. Now, I'm not condoning it. It isn't legal, but that is precisely what happens. And some will say, yes, you get what you pay for. So if you pay cheap, you're going to get cheap work. That may not necessarily hold true all of the time. So Mr. Willie would say that, in fact, you can't get anyone to work at all. He goes on to say the largest building boom is on at present, and construction of dwelling, homes, hotels, motels, club, etc. It is a problem most of the time to find carpenters. The Regional Planning Board, today we would call them the CPA, is kept busy most of the time, as there are so many applications. There is no poverty unless it's an old person unable to work. We hear of swamplands by the thousands of acres to be reclaimed for building. Of course, there is no shortage of good building sites, but if building continues for the next 5 years or more, the more swamplands may have to be reclaimed. How prophetic was he? It may not have been 5 years, but certainly that is exactly what's happening now. I'm going to pause there because we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, see how you doing, Elvis?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Beautiful, man. I just come from picking about $150 with a pepper. They're legal,
Yeah. I was talking to a friend in North Side, and he was telling me that he gets so many peppers. He just built a house a few years ago in North Side and has his backyard farming and doing really, really well with it as well.
Yeah, well, I was reading a little article. There's a ganja shortage in Jamaica now.
Yep.
You read it, right?
And the quality as well. The quality is dropping.
Good, because all of it is being exported to Canada, and they won't give the small farmers a chance to get into that, so they ease up growing it.
Mm-hmm.
And what they got is coming to Cayman by the thousands of pounds. Well, I want to know when the doctors and them that making all their money off of the oil and the whipping, if they can't get to supply their patients, then what they gonna do then?
Yeah.
I wonder if they gonna really, if our politicians gonna really open up the eyes and see what's going on in this world.
And by the way, you see where Guyana is bringing legislation in place to decriminalize small quantities as well in Guyana.
Yeah, I read all about it, but I got a letter. I got copy a letter to UOC. I'll make sure you get a copy that I wrote to the governor. I mean, I wrote it. Look at, I got somebody that know what they're doing to write it under section, I think 16 of the Constitution. It's the same thing that those ladies there, Ms. Dave and Martin Bush there. Because remember, one segment of once the gay thing was legal, that's where they went. Place to marry. Heterosexual being legal, they can marry. So homosexual legal, and we want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you something now. Council rule.
You're breaking up, caller. You're breaking up.
I said that the ruling from the. I think. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Try now.
Yeah, I said it. The ruling from the Privy Council is on the 20th of this month.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know that they're going to rule that those people can marry, you know?
I feel pretty confident that that's what's going to happen there, quite possibly in Bermuda as well. The Bermuda hearing is taking place as we speak.
Yes, and then I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to give 10% discount. That day that I hear the news from my liquor store, pepper, everything. And you know what, doing it because people stood up for the right. But all of the Rasta man that I see walking around came on and all the ganja smokers. But we can't get together. You know, that's a funny thing. And the government, all elected members, but one side would stand up. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to more. If somebody come there, he would like back it. But nobody want to buy the cat. I mean, what is so wrong with helping your people? Oh, see, tell me something. No, you went and took your shot for the corona, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, good. People ask me, Elvis, are you going to take the shot? I said, no. Government giving me something that I can live longer, so they say, to live in misery. I want to be free to do what I want to do, smoke my weed and grow it in peace. If the corona killed me, it killed me. But you know how funny how government says? They will give you things to live long to make you punish.
Mm-hmm. But you realize by doing that, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're helping to protect others as well. Those around you.
Yeah, but like I said, the we want to make a with 3 or 4 of them and they're down in the bush with it, they can't take everybody, so I ain't not business with it. But then how that's what it is, I'm 62. And they call in and they not call me. If they not call me, I didn't go in even if they call me. I don't think they go in.
But in there, they don't have the category of 60 and over, and they haven't done those yet in the BRAC? 60 and over?
I don't know. I see a lot of kind of people out there.
Yeah, I believe 60 and over, they're catering or have catered to them as well. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions, but I would encourage you to reconsider whether or not you want to take it, because you also not only protecting yourself, but protecting others around you as well. And think of it this way, it may put a few more years onto your life that you can smoke that weed a little bit longer.
No, they can jail me, friend. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not easy like me, you know. So I can tell you another thing now. I called a lawyer this morning about this. I went to court for threatening violence and cussing and thing, and the judge gave me 3 months in prison, suspended. I was going to call my lawyer this morning. But they had me up for theft. And, no, see, you know Elvis McKeever from Dutch now. I've been in trouble from them a teenager. I have never yet ever been questioned about burglary, theft, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is not Granny Root and Granny Grace. They teach me different from that. You want something, work for it. You can't work for it, do without it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I was raised, right?
So are they using some technicality when they call it theft? Is it a technicality that they're using?
No. The prosecutor said, this is the prosecutor was, that it must have been a typical error or something from the DPP office.
Mm.
So the charge is not that. The charge is, listen to the charges, harassment by ITT. By a phone. That's a lot. That's a lot of different there.
Mm-hmm.
Harassment and threatening on a phone. And then they got it down for theft. And when he told it to the judge just agreed. You think they will look at me and say, Mr. Elvis, Mr. McKeever, Boy, you know, that's a bad thing for. It's published, you know. This is worldwide, you know. And nobody can pull. Like people call me, say, Elvis, what the hell wrong with you? What they got you for tough for? I say, me? Say, no. I look at the paper. I say, but wait, you know. Yeah, and I didn't get an apology. But you hear what I tell you? What you call that? Definition of character, something like that?
Defamation? Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, that's what I'll be calling my lawyer. But somebody can answer to Elvis this time. Yeah. When I make mistake, I have to pay for them, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, somebody make mistake and they got paid for that.
No, you should challenge it, yeah. So, okay, top of the hour, I'm going to ask you to leave us there, Elvis. We have our headline news at 9 o'clock. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly. Remember, phone lines are open. Toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. Other landlines, 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. Please stay tuned.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, you know, on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 219 COVID-19 tests on Tuesday. 2 travelers tested positive. Both are asymptomatic. Police in Myanmar have filed several charges against the elected civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi following Monday's military coup. She has been remanded in custody until February 15th. The charges include breaching import and export laws and possession of unlawful communication devices. Her whereabouts are still unclear, but it has been reported that she's being held at a residence in the capital. Results that show the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine may reduce the spread of coronavirus has been hailed as, quote, absolutely superb by England's health secretary. Matt Hancock said the study shows the, quote, vaccines are the way out of this pandemic. It's the first time a vaccine has been shown to reduce transmission of the virus. The UK has given a first COVID jab to 9.6 million people so far. The results of the study, which has not yet been formally published, suggest that the vaccine may have a, quote, substantial effect on transmission of the virus. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Remember, our phone lines are open, no guests in the studio, and if it sounds as if I'm begging for callers to call in, not really. I would certainly love to hear from you, but I have other things that I want to that I will share as well, and I know many of our listeners like to hear some of these stories, especially from the Tradewinds newspaper as well. And I will continue to check my WhatsApp messages in the event that anything comes through there also. So Mr. Willywood spoke about the fact that that if building continued for the next 5 years or more swampland may have to be reclaimed. And we see that happening now because everyone, or a lot of people, still want to be near to the water, near to the ocean. I am hoping that they're taking notice of what's happening in other places. Far Rockaway in New York. You'd never think that you would have flooding there, but they're experiencing flooding. Those people who live near to the beach there, with the snow and with the high tides, they end up with flooding, and they have attributed that to global warming as well. Global warming as well. So careful where you build. That old Caymanian saying and that Caymanian knowledge still obtains today, even though you may have stronger concrete, more steel, and whatever. But just remember that water, one of the more powerful forces on this earth, water as well. So Mr. Willerwood went on to say that 5 or 6 ships call in regularly, fully loaded with food stuff and building material, besides what can be obtained locally. Now, we may not have 5 or 6 coming in per week now, and that is because there are larger vessels with the capacity to bring more cargo. So we don't need as many and maybe not as frequently, but they're coming in. They said not so long ago, block making machines could take care of demand and stockpile as well. Today, larger ones have been brought in to fill orders. Every year, we get more visitors, and practically everyone wants to build and live here. As many claim this is the nearest to heaven they have found. And some people are still finding it that way as well. He goes on to say that we are glad to know this and are happy to have them, but only hope the decent and well-behaved will be permitted to live here. Well, we hope and trust the same, but remember now we have more robust laws. We have a Bill of Rights, and the whole issue of retaining the family unit together. So sometimes we end up with bad apples, but because they have family connections in the Cayman Islands, children, so far it appears as if the law leans towards them, and sometimes we have to put up with those bad apples, even when they become repeat offenders, as well. And that is something that I believe that the public in the Cayman Islands have their concerns about, and whether we have to continuously put up with those who have committed serious crimes, but because of families here are allowed to remain as well. A huge debate on that, and something that we want to look at. So in those days, Mr. Willerwood was hoping that only the decent and well-behaved ones will be permitted to live here. Right now, we have all and sundry here, but we're doing what we can to weed out the bad apples as well. He goes on to say that the largest amount ever realized by customs for 1 month was December. That's in December of 1965, when almost 30,000 pounds were collected. Now, these days, 30,000 pounds is, or the equivalent of 30,000 pounds is probably what one individual or one company may pay on import duties to the Cayman Islands. So it goes to show you how far we have come as well. He goes on to say that our present planes have gotten too small and slow, so our landing field has to be strengthened to accommodate jets, which will go in service as early as possible to take care of increased passengers. This is the period when our administrator and elected members should be very careful and direct the good ship Cayman to a safe and cozy harbor. Someone asked me, he says, a few days ago, what I thought of it all. Mr. Willerwood said he answered, I can't say yet where we are bound, but I do know we are going there fast. That was in 1966, and people are still saying that today, that we are moving too fast. Sometimes that we are moving ahead without a proper plan. So what resonated, what was said in 1966 resonates in the Cayman Islands in 2021 as well. So he goes on to say that what was once a settled area with access only from the sea is now served by a road which leads from the main road at Pedro to the sea in a southerly direction. This is the cove called Beach Bay. Okay, that was when Beach Bay was being developed as well. The road was not led directly to the cove, but goes to the sea a couple of 100 feet west. After arriving on the seaside, one can walk easterly for a couple of 100 feet and be at the Sanda Cove. This is a beautiful place, very cool, and served by channels through the reef, allowing boats under 3 feet draft to enter the road that is yet in the rough state, but goes very straight. So he's talking about that area, and if those of you who are familiar with it, you know what's going on in the Beach Bay area now. You're going to have your big hotels up there, and all of that tranquility that Mr. Willerwood talked about will all be gone. It will become more and more commercialized. We have 2 callers. Let's go to the phone line. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Ms. Sophie, what is the laws in regards to protesting here in the Cayman Islands before I open my mouth?
I believe that you have to get permission from the Commissioner of Police for gatherings at such, especially if you're going to march on the road or in public areas, I believe.
Okay, so the protest is going on in front of the glass house. What category that comes under?
Well, I would imagine that they have gotten permission to do so. Otherwise, they probably would have been challenged by officials by now.
So is it okay to protest in front of the glass house? On the glass house premises?
If permission is received, I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah. And also down there at the governor's residence, this lady sitting up there with about 4 or 5 posters from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting on the governor's fence, and that's all good and well as well, too?
If permission is granted, and it doesn't seem as if anyone is objecting to it, is there something wrong with protesting? Peacefully protesting?
No. I'm just investigating. I'm just trying to figure out our laws and all of the... Well, what's happening here in this island, and I don't know if there's anything wrong with me asking question how the protest goes on.
No. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not. Don't get me wrong, Dean. I'm just trying to figure out. You say it's okay once you get permission to do it. I'm
and I would imagine that if they're out there continuously, one day to the next, someone would have noticed it, especially at the government administration building. Someone would have noticed it and probably questioned as to whether or not they're lawfully assembled there.
Well, they're there particularly, so I guess this must be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you was talking a while ago in regards to traffic, and an officer was on the road and really didn't acknowledge what was happening to a degree. Well, that happens probably couple mornings of the week going down here from Newlands into Georgetown. There'll be vehicles flying into Georgetown, and there's a cop on the road driving very peacefully and mind his own business, and the cars are still flying, and they hit the Present Highway and they're still flying, and the cop takes Crew Road to go about his business. So, you wonder sometimes where are they? Are they waiting for these meters they have on the road to take a picture of the vehicle and go and give the individual a ticket? I would like to know if that's really working for them, because these roads are getting crazy and crazier.
Yeah.
No, but anyhow, thank you. You have a great day.
Thank you. You have a great day as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Peter Schmidt here.
Good morning, Mr. Schmidt. How are you?
I'm well, and I hope the same for you.
Thank you very much. I am.
Okay. Before I start, what I was calling about, that issue with if it's the same issue that is being protested about or demonstrated about in front of the administration building was kind of being hashed out on Facebook the other day, where it is a person that came here as a refugee and got asylum, subsequently married a person from another country, also a Hispanic country, and now he's protesting that he wants the right for her to bring her children from that other country here. So, one of the things I've been following some movements all over the globe, because the refugee issue seems to become bigger and bigger all over the world, at least from the underdeveloped parts to the developed parts. And from my original home in Switzerland, I read in the news where these people come from the middle of Africa, end up in Switzerland with a piece of paper that explains to them exactly what the laws of Switzerland cater for, etc. They don't seem to have a paper that says anything about what is expected of them, but they seem to have the paper that will spell out in minute detail of what they might be able to
expect from
get.
Yes,
and it is a big problem. It upsets native populations, and I'm sure it does it here too. I remember the stresses that we went through when we had Tent City, with 1,000 and something people, I believe, in total, that were accumulating here before we found a solution and a measure that would hopefully discourage the frequent arrivals a little bit, you know. But anyway, so my point was that people always want to take a yard. They're being given an opportunity to live their life in peace, which they say they did not have where they ran from, and then they want to try to just take everything they can and abuse the system in their favor. So it's one thing if a native does it; it's a completely other thing if you're from the outside and you try to do the same thing. But let me get to my topic before I use too much of the time.
That's okay.
You will probably know when, excuse me, when ships like the Goldfield, etc., were traveling to and from the Cayman Islands. What I'm talking about, sailing vessels. I'm not sure exactly when that period came to an end. But and then motorized vessels took over and moved cargo and people. But one of the things about, if I can call it, manual ships like sailing vessels, etc., they were very labor intensive. And as you know, I have in the past voiced my disappointment over the function of the Cadet Corps and the regiment, or that it was not part of their function to address social education and basic skills learning of the people that wouldn't naturally get it and may have run afoul of the not criminal laws, but the laws governing behavior in Cayman, and it was feared that they might be on track for a life of similar activities or worse.
Right.
And I was hoping that these pseudo-military organizations would have an opportunity to take some of those young people in their formative stages or even in the early 20s and help them become contributing citizens by kind of helping them to understand what the duties of citizens are in order to enjoy the privileges, the duties that come with it. And none of the two, Cadet Corps nor Regiment, has that as one of its core functions. And so I was recently reading about a ship in Bermuda. It's called the Pride of Bermuda, I believe it is, or something similar. It escapes me right now, to be honest, even though I just read about it again. It's what they call a Bermudan sloop, which was modified and made larger, and it was
used for training.
It's a training vessel. It has 3 masts, and it's taking young people out on some of them from the middle school ages on 5-day journeys and so forth. And it's lauded as an absolute success in what it teaches the young people how to work together. One student remarked that he did not think he could live for a whole week without eating junk food, and to his surprise, he survived it. And other things like that, really heartwarming statements from students that have gone through that. Also, I understand that this same vessel enters into tall ship races.
Right.
In the U.S., it's totally impressive. I remember when the Goldfield came back here, and there were some people that had, I think, hoped to be able to restore it, and it is from that time that I was hoping that a sail ship could help our young people, because one of the things that always got my goat, to be honest, is when I saw juveniles coming out of court, and because they only got a slap of the wrist because they were not yet mature, that they then, acted like they had won a victory against the system. Only then in front of their peers to show off and go on. And I know for a fact that many young men that went out to sea, they had some hard days and some hard nights, and they might have missed their mother quite a bit in the initial stages, but they lived through it and became men.
Caller, I'm going to ask you to wrap up quickly because I've gone way beyond my commercial break, but I didn't even notice it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
But
no
anyway, yes. So I wonder if there are any seamen, mariners, still around that have actually worked on sailing vessels in Cayman. And I'm just putting that out there. Maybe somebody's listening and they will call in, and I would like to talk to them sometime.
Excellent. And this is a good time to do it because since we're celebrating our seafarers now as well. And that vessel is named the Spirit of Bermuda as well. Caller, thank you very much for that.
Very much.
Folks, we're way past our commercial break. We do have 2 callers on hold. We're going to ask you to hang in there. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will take your call, so please stay tuned.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Running for political office is no easy feat. You need to be everywhere, all of the time.
Now is the time to get your important messages out to the voting public.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, has always been there for incumbents and future candidates alike. Whether you want to get your political commercials or infomercials on air, make in-house studio appearances, or have your district meetings broadcast live to the listening audience.
Set a time today to meet with one of our knowledgeable Radio Cayman sales account executives who have their fingers on the pulse of the community.
Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky. Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, we've been in the community for just about 45 years. That means something.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners now offering 12% off all ladies and gents wearing apparels. Prepaid on orders $19 and up. Other household items such as bedspreads, drapes, and wedding dresses remain at a standard 10% off prepaid. These discounts are on at all our stores and will end February 20th. Savannah Countryside, Elgin Avenue, 337 Eastern Avenue, drive-through, rain or shine. Telephone 949-7104. Our seamstress is on duty. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have two callers. We're going to take one call and then we're going to have to go back to commercial break again. Miss Susan, I believe, right? Because we missed out on that time. So we're going to try to work that out. But the way that the computer is set up, certain things have to happen at certain times. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
This is Georgia Devine.
Morning, Miss Georgette.
And I trust that you yourself and all your family are keeping well.
Thank you, ma'am, and I trust the same with you and yours.
That's how it's going here too, sir.
Great.
I appreciate your interest. I just want to ask you one question, and I'll hang up and listen to what you have to say. Have you heard anything about the Simboko? The Simboko she was what kept us, I would say, almost alive in many, many years ago. And her engine made such a loud noise that some people said that when she was way up around East End, you could hear her engine down in Georgetown.
Wow.
The Simboko. And if you haven't heard anything about it, all you young men, because you're still a young man.
Yes.
Check it out and find out everything you can about the Simboko. She was a famous, famous boat.
Okay, and Miss Georgia, before you go, what about the Cali? Because we know that the wreck of the Cali is still out there. What about the Cali? Do you know anything about the Cali?
About that was the one that was loaded with rice.
Mm-hmm.
Bags and bags of rice.
Oh.
I know she was out there, and I know that when my brother was barely, I don't think he was more than about 12, not even a teenager yet.
Wow.
But he and many young men had a chance to help with the sacks of rice, and they got paid a few shillings for it. That's long before we got into dollars and
Yes.
and cents.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, Mr. O.C., and God bless you and all your family.
Thank you, Miss Georgia, and the same to you as well. And we'll try to learn more about the Simboko, as you know. And this is a commercial plug for my good friend, Mr. Renard Moxham, but he has named his restaurants. One located in Savannah, near to Countryside, in his plaza there, Simboko, and there's one on 7 Mile Beach, on Lawrence Boulevard as well, Simboco. So here we have one Caymanian businessman paying homage to our the boat vessel, the Simboco, as well. So I want to thank Ms. Georgette for raising that, and that will give me more impetus to look into this further as well. So we're going to take a commercial break now, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Ropers Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Bacardi presents One Love Legends of Reggae Concert, Saturday, February 13th at Coral Beach, featuring Mr. Notch and Local Motion 345, Erica Asai, Bonafide Cayman, and DJ Craig, covering legendary reggae music with a lovers rock twist for this pre-Valentine's Day show. Catch the free pre-show from 4 p.m. with the Neverines and Sugar Daddy. Tickets to the main event, $25, available from eventpro.ky or ticket outlets, Coral Beach, Blackbeard's Liquor Stores, Winner's Circle, FIS MoneyGram, Funky Tanks, Island Naturals Cafe, and ShopRite. One Love Legends of Reggae Concert is brought to you by Bacardi, Coral Beach, Burger Shack, Supermix, Caymanian Times, and Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. A few WhatsApp messages that I received as well. This one says, salute to you, OC and MP, Mr. Ezard Miller, for instinctive call to duty in the cause of protection of our community regarding access and buy-in for the vaccine. I salute MP Ezard for his relentless protection of the process, prioritizing his constituents who would have been swamped by ineligibles and non-constituents. This is just and right. Another of our listeners wrote in and said, good morning. I am concerned about the number of vehicles that are on the roads without license plate. These things that seem simple will lead to problems as criminals, will use this to their advantage. In the past, this would raise an alarm, but now it has become commonplace. This needs to be addressed. I would venture to say I agree with that caller. I am not sure, in terms of what the complement of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is now. I am not sure how much of their assets are directed towards traffic enforcement of our traffic laws. But I would venture to say that we don't have enough of it. We need 24-hour, we need around-the-clock surveillance of our roads. We need to have traffic officers, traffic vehicles out there at all times, because it is a problem that we're allowing to gradually get worse and worse. And of course, then when we seek to address it, it's going to be simply too late. those unlicensed, unregistered vehicles on the road put law-abiding citizens at risk. In many instances, forces them to take civil action against other drivers who have no insurance coverage whatsoever, not licensed, not registered, and they're putting good, honest people at risk. We do not need that. Going back to Mr. Willie Wood, because this is something very important here that I didn't know about before. Mr. Willie Wood was talking about the Beach Bay area, and he says along this road lots of domestic trees grow, which are good for fence poles and other jobs that call for long use. Along this road, you will see a freshly cut trail that leads to a well on the east. This well is surrounded entirely by high cliffs with only one entrance and exit, which was cut to allow cattle to enter and drink from its cool water. On the level beside the well, there are three trees. That's a tongue twister there. Trees, which the old people called elder. Now, first time I'm hearing this, I don't know if any of you have heard it before. There was a tree called elder, E-L-D-E-R. He said there were trees which the old people call elder. And he says that they used it as a chew stick, which they claim was good for the teeth and the gum. It has a peppery taste and leaves the water with a nice taste and smell. He also goes on to say that wild orchids grow in abundance along this road also. On the seashore, thousands of tons of rocks are piled up by the sea. Of course, this is probably due to northwesters and hurricanes. It says a rock crusher could find handy material there for years to come. With the great amount of building going on, we dare say many of these will be used. There are no signs forbidding anyone to enter, even though it is private property. Well, those days are over. Everything now says no trespassing. Trespassers will be prosecuted. So if you can rough it, you will be well repaid with the beautiful view, seashells, picking and collecting driftwood. So, any of you know about a plant, a tree called elder, and it was used, it was chewed, and it's claimed to be good for the teeth and for the gum. We have callers. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Woosey. You didn't know it was my turn.
Yes, it is.
Yes, that's very interesting, what you're just saying. Elder tree. I've heard that name before for trees a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know which tree it is now. What Mr. Schmidt was saying, I agree with about the refugee thing. People must understand and been given a privilege, so therefore you should try to abide by what you've been given, be thankful, be grateful for it. So everyone in life will have problems and want things to go their way. And life cannot be like that. We know that. A country can't be run that fashion.
Mm-hmm.
People cannot have their own way at all times. You may get a lot of your own things that you desire, more your own wishes, but there are certain restrictions. We have to abide by laws. Restrictions. The traffic thing, I agree with wholeheartedly. That's a dangerous thing. People driving around without insurance. I see cars on the road every day in my journey up to the east from Savannah, here from West Bay, that the license plates are legible, totally unreadable, and some no license plates, and then big trucks too, and so forth. It's a very interesting uninsured, unlicensed. They're talking about the gold field earlier on, and that brings out a lot in me. I wouldn't like to talk about all the things about her now. My father was one of the 4 carpenters on her. The other 3, I'm so glad of, were honored on Heroes Day. Their names are honored and given a plaque. My father wasn't. Don't know why. The gold field,
are you talking about on National Heroes Day that in terms of the plaque?
Day, yeah.
But remember now that nominations had to be put in by family members.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I won't go into that, sir, please.
Okay, but bear in mind, there are still district days that are coming up. If it wasn't done then, it'll probably be done then later on, sir.
Georgetown. Anyway, my father excelled in every aspect of seamanship. Every aspect. Turtler, he was a licensed boat builder. He has a license as a shipwright. I have that license in my possession. He's long gone home to glory, and his captain's license. But that's not my gripe. That's merely with that. And all the services he did and so forth, being a licensed captain. The gold field, when bringing her home here, was something that I was very happy of. But when I saw what happened after that, I was very saddened about it and disappointed. And my mother was just told, because it was a special vessel to him. My mother often talked about him sleeping on her deck in the night to try to get her finished on how special it was. Rather than coming home south down there, you just say, it's just too late, send a message, comes up, and when I reach the decking and so forth. Anyway, and he always said the reason that she was so fast was that she was oversailed, really. He took her half model to Jamaica, one of the half models, I think there were 3, and built big boats there also. But when I saw what had happened, and simply because my brother and a couple of the seamen from Georgetown, and my brother was chief mechanic for one of the developments there, took her and tied her up to the barge, their big barge, and that kept her afloat. And when I took my mother to see her, she broke down and cried when she saw what had happened. And also, but anyhow, she understood. I tried to understand. And that was in the 1990s early. And then they had Professor Crudy, who built a model, an ice model of her on a computer design. And they had a special opening for that and a ceremony to present it. And she was guest of honor. I'm thankful that they invited her guest of honor at that ceremony. There are lots of people there, and I'm glad of that. But it's a very special vessel, and it meant a lot to my people. But to see what happened to her was very sad and disappointing. But that is life.
Yep, certainly. Caller, I'm going to ask you to leave us there. We're going to try to grab another
wonderful day.
Caller before we go to our break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Mr. O.C.?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Georgia D. Banks. I rarely call the second time.
That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to apologize.
I would just like you to know, I didn't hear about it. I saw it with my own eyes. The old people, I didn't know the name of the tree. That they would get a piece off of a tree, strip it, and that's why the older Caymanians, most of them died with all their own teeth. Because it was no floss in those days.
Right.
And I rarely ever heard about toothpaste. Are you joking? So I saw that with my own eyes. And thank you, Mr. O.C., and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Georgia, for that as well. The other thing that Mr. Willerwood wrote about, and I wanted to ask Mr. Hurlston about this. And he said somewhere he talked about the road that was built there near Pedro Castle. And he says that we feel that Mr. Dunning, the present owner, and Eden Brothers, who built the road, should be commended for this nice job that they have done. So I'm just curious to know who this Mr. Dunning would have been, at that point in time. Certainly not a Caymanian name as well. Time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has lots of great reasons why you should choose a Toyota Corolla Hybrid or CHR Hybrid for your new ride. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven, so you don't ever have to worry about plugging them in. Both are super quiet as well as economical and fun to drive. So stop by Vant Motors to check out a new, fuel-efficient, eco-friendly Toyota Corolla Hybrid for only $26,900 or a sporty CHR Hybrid starting from $34,150 while stock lasts. Go Toyota. Go hybrid. Go to Vampt Motors on Walkers Road.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning as well. Just one of our callers mentioned the demonstration that has taken place outside of the government administration building. And while I'm not fully informed of what the demonstration is all about, I think one of the callers mentioned the fact that someone who was granted refugee status in the Cayman Islands and now married to for a non-Caymanian who has children overseas, and they're now seeking, or whether or not they have been refused permission to have the children join the family. I'm not sure, but I just want to put out some scenarios, out there, for you. And number one, if those children are minor children, then that is something to be taken into consideration. That is number one. The other thing is not casting any aspersions on anyone, but bear in mind that sometimes the information that we get from countries, if we do get that information, because you're limited when you're granting refugee status to someone, you're limited in terms of inquiring from their mother country or the country of birth, what their current situation is there, or what their previous situation was. And you basically have to take a lot you have to accept a lot of information that has been given to you. Now, when we look at places like Cuba, I'm not saying that there aren't genuine political refugees, but most of the refugees that or the persons that we see coming to the islands to seek refuge are economic refugees, not political refugees, as well. So things like whether or not that person has been married previously in another country and is still married, whether or not we have that information, because that person can get married here in the Cayman Islands again. It could then be a bigamous marriage. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but there are possibilities there. We saw one of our callers mention Tent City. We saw in Tent City where for their own reasons, couples were getting together and they were saying that they were married when in fact that they weren't. But that was to assist them in terms of their ability to either seek refuge in the Cayman Islands or to be transferred to Guantanamo Bay, where they were then sent on to the U.S. As well. So there are a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration. But the paramount issue when it comes to children, if they're minor children, the family unit, which I spoke about earlier, is extremely important, and ensuring that that family unit is maintained as well. So there are things that you have to look at. You have to look at the genuineness of the marriage, take that into consideration, but you have to have proof. But there are so many things to take into consideration. Also, bear in mind that at one point in time, our immigration laws here in the Cayman Islands did not address the issue of refugees. We had a handbook that was issued by the United Nations in relation to refugees. We had to use that to go by. We had to rely on experts from the United Nations to come and give us advice, to give us assistance, where we got even to the point where we were able to produce a refugee travel document to persons who were granted refugee status in the Cayman Islands. Now, whether or not these persons are demonstrating over that, whether or not they have received a decision that was not in their favor, I don't know all of the details. I just want to point out that there are so many variables, there are so many issues to be taken into consideration as well. So until all of those things are known, and whether or not anyone will come forward and tell us exactly what the situation is another story as well. So those are my comments in relation to that. Looking to see if we have any more. Like I said, if you have sent me emails this morning, I do not have access to my emails. So unfortunately, I was unable to read any emails that you may have sent me. We'll check them, and then hopefully we'll be able to address any concerns or any points that you may have raised in your emails at the next show as well. We're still scrolling through to see what Tradewinds newspaper has to offer. On February the 4th, 1965, there were articles in the Tradewinds newspaper relating to budget speech made by the administrator. Had a very small budget in the Cayman Islands when we compare it to the budget that we have now, which I think eclipsed $1 billion the last time around, I believe, or if not $1 billion, close to it, but I believe it's over $1 billion. The shared with you already, talking about the PRO, Public Relations Officer in the Cayman Islands, Mr. Ernest Panton. Talk about Byron Lee and the Dragonaires being here in the Cayman Islands for the opening of Club Inferno as well. We had a netball team called the Kelal, I hope I'm pronouncing that well, Kelal team that came from Jamaica as well. And they certainly entertained here in the Cayman Islands. 1966, February the 1st, 1966, we had and this was a very important juncture in the introduction of telecommunications in the Cayman Islands. And we have a picture here of the cable and wireless cable layer called the CS Mercury, 8,960 gross tons, and it was loading cable and repeaters at Greenwich, London. It's the world's latest cable layer, and eventually that vessel, at that time it was actually going to Bermuda. It was actually going to Bermuda to lay the cables there, and then of course eventually it was done in Cayman as well. Other articles in there: a man died in a hospital after a fight. That was a West Bay gentleman, but out of respect for the family, I won't read that, because I am sure that it still, elicits memories of that family member. This one, I think I shared with you before, and I'm glad I saw it again, because I promised the family that I would share this with them. The Tradewinds newspaper carried things about profiles, and they had several persons working at the Tradewinds newspaper when it first started, including the pressman who was from East End, and his name was Roland Gerzung. And the Gerzung family was featured. The profiles says Gerzung is one of the native family names yet uncommon in Cayman. Their ancestor, Victor Gerzung, left the French army many years ago and retired to Haiti. A son, Victor Emmanuel Gerzung, made his home in Jamaica, and his son, Stanley I. Gerzung, came to Cayman and married Miss Lorena Bawden of East End, and settled there, raising a family of 3 children: Wyman, now deceased, Cicely, now Mrs. Pearson, and Radley, now Constable Gerzung of the Cayman Islands Police Force, with 3 sons and a daughter, Marge Maureen, who left the island on January the 3rd to further her education in Jamaica. Radley's interesting story will come to you in a future issue of Tradewinds newspaper. I have to find that and share that with the family, because I made promises to do that, and I didn't do it, but I will ensure that that is done. But interesting, very interesting, how people are known. Had one about Teodoro Mendez as well, a well-known figure around Grand Cayman, born in Spain in September the 5th, 1893, came to Cayman in 1931 and has worked at the Public Works Department since that time. Reverend George Hicks joined him in marriage with Paulina, and he and his wife reside in the home just off Crew Road as well. So there we know about Mr. Teodoro Mendez as well. Teodoro, remember him? Public Works. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, I also want to remind you that be our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today, and as usual, Miss Catherine Miller will be hosting today for Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile. Saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce.